Yep. Everyone, is that time again that I come back with another video, another miraculous video, trying to do something that I don't know if it's gonna work out or not, but hey, here we are. All right, we're trying our best. That's all that matters. And right now, I want to bring a little review of this starter deck 11 Uta. I can't believe we're actually in 11 already. It feels like the game just came out last year, which it did, but yeah, we did have four starter decks to begin with, so that kind of makes sense. Um, Very interesting that this starter deck has a lot of reprints. It only introduced 5 new cards, including a leader, including a character, 3 new events, but all those new events are really good. This leader is really good, and then the character is extremely good. So everything is it's good. And it's supporting an old archetype, which is the film archetype. I used to be a really big fan, and that's the whole reason why I'm doing a video, because I used to be a really big fan of the film archetype, since it was quote unquote made for Sanji, and I really enjoy playing that deck back in OPO2. Now, the deck is pretty complete. I'm just gonna go ahead and go into what are the contents of the deck, so that way we can review it. I think it's very complete. So yeah, let's go jump in that. All right, first things first. I do want to shout out One Piece Top Decks. This website to me is a game changer, just because it's allows me to see a lot of the decks, constructed decks that have been doing good in the past, or just in different areas, of course, like the Asia area, because I already had this format and they already figured something out that maybe I'm overlooking and maybe I don't think it's that good, but then they show it and I tried the deck out and it makes sense. For example, like Sakazuki, I was never really sold on Blue Hina, and then I saw every single deck played with the Blue Hina. I put it myself, and then I realized the power. So yeah. Anyway, so this is what you get off the bat. All of this are reprints, so it's what you would expect. A lot of vanillas that you probably won't use, such as like the Jinbei, Frankie, so, and then all the other cards that you might use. Also, that I guess that includes the Sora, which is the Brook. Brook, fantastic ability. You're gonna be playing at 3 cost once you play him. Uh, Blocker, and you're able to play a 4 cost, which can be the Brook, which then the Brook can play something else. So we all know that combo. You get for 7, you get essentially 3 bodies, which is fantastic. I think this is fantastic. Anyway, Chopper, the only 2K that comes in the deck, and then 3,000 sword style onigiri, 3 sword style onigiri. My bad. Which you're not gonna be playing in a constructed format, but for the seal format, I think it's great. And now the new cards. Starting off with the leader, we can go ahead and give the leader a good read over here. It says Don 1. When attacking once per turn, it's very important, once per turn, because now we have a way of attacking more than once. You're going to be revealing the top card. This is a film, you add it to your hand. This is essentially a draw 1, because most, even in a constructed format, almost 80% of your deck, or more than 80% of your deck, is a film archetype type of card. And this is events, and this is characters. So you're going to be able to draw pretty much all the times with that unlucky occasion that you want. All right, and then over here, this is just in the case that if you hit something that is not filmed, you're just gonna be bottom decking. The character card is also really good. It kind of replaces Bartolomeo, that little promo that was so hard to get, just because this is going to be doing that same effect while being a blocker. Barto, in a sense, was like a fake blocker that if you don't remove it, he's just gonna kind of over like snowball the game towards your favor. But in this case, this does it just with the ability, well, just by the condition of discarding one event and then just setting one of your film characters as active. So that would include any of these guys that are swinging, particularly your Monkey D. Luffy. If you want to swing with it, now you have a very cheap financially, and also like paying on, to replacing those Bartos that were kind of pesky to get. All right, and then the events. I think all of these 3 events are great. Let's start with New Genesis. New Genesis is you're going to be looking at the top 3, and then you're going to be adding 1 film character, because more than 80% of your deck is a film. You're going to be always adding a new card, and then alongside with that, you're going to be setting up 1 rested on. This is regardless if you hit or not. So you're going to be setting up 1 rested as active. What does this mean? It's a free event. All right, that's how you should look at it. And I think this is going to be a 4 of, just because it's going to be thin in your deck for 4 cards. You see all this, you activate them right away, in my opinion. Maybe you might want to hold 1 so you can activate Uta or not. I don't know. I would say just activate them all, just because it not only searches for characters, but also for other events that might come in handy. That to me is just like a lot of value in just one card. So yeah, you're playing a 46 card deck, so you're gonna be able to hit with your Uta more consistently, and then with your Nami that we might talk a little bit more later. And then Backlight is also great. It's very meta relevant because it's able to rest one of your opponent's characters of 5 or lower, and then you're gonna be KOing one of your opponent's characters of 5 or lower that are rested. So it's a choose one. All right. So this means all the meta relevant blockers are rested. That includes your Kits, your Queens, your Sables, your Borsalinos, your Rebecca. So all of that, you have the ability to rest them. And then the last one, which I think is probably what dethroned Green Kid, is just literally giving your leader the ability of becoming Green Kid. For 3 active main, you're gonna set one of your leader Utas as active. So this means Kid ability. You're kind of ditching a card and paying 3. It's the same thing. All right. So it's really, really strong to give that ability to a leader that's already drawing a lot of cards. So if they're at 1, they gotta kind of be careful just because you're able to do what Kid always did, which is just all in twice. Fantastic card. All right. And yeah. So this is like what you get right off the box. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about those upgrades based upon some others' results, all right? Not my results. I suck at the game, but some other people don't. So, yeah, let's take a look. All right. So, back here, One Piece top decks, Ted-chan, whoever this person is. Also, shout out to Alyssa that might want to read up to this one, how this guy won 5 flagships with Nami. So a more standard, this is kind of like a weird list, but the whole reason why I want to pull it up is just because this guy went 9-1 in a really big tournament. It seems like, I don't know what an SB would be. My bad on that. Sometimes I don't know how to like interpret these results, but at the very least, going 9-1 is kind of impressive. So yeah, the other 2K counter that I saw that most decks across the board play is the ISO, just because it also gives you that ability of resting that relevant blocker. That could be Rebecca or that could be Borsalino. This guy opted to play the Eustace Kid. It makes sense just because he's playing the Eustace Kid in addition to the Paradise Waterfall, as opposed to Don Quixote do Flamingo. You might want to play just 4 copies of this and play none of these events, because then the events are just going to be dead in your hand once you play the Dofi. So it makes sense why he's doing this. All right. Eustace Kid, it kind of makes you do like that starve version. So you might want to just have all the cards in the world in your hand, and then just play the Kid, have this be your like quote unquote pseudo leader, and then just outgrind everyone, because that's what the deck does. This strategy might not be as good as against Sokka. Against Sokka, you might probably prefer to do Don Quixote. I really don't know. We'll see. Now, this law became a little bit more relevant. Traditional film type decks, such as like Green Purple Dofi and Eustace Kid, did not play this law. However, now you have 2 really good targets in the form of Nami, well, you always had Nami, but now you also have the Uta that you can play. In addition, for this being counter, which, one or not, that it's very relevant. Again, 4 New Genesis, 4 Backlights, 3 I'm Invincible. Anywhere from 2 to 3, I think, is the sweet spot for this deck. For this card, you want to see it. Probably not 4, because then it's just a dead card. We already know by Kid, it won't really get you there if you just double swing every single game. You might want to have a combination of having a board and then double swinging. So yeah, this is kind of like a standard list. So yeah, we're gonna check another one before I give my thoughts on this. I think like the ratios are kind of off in here. But yeah, let's just go over the other list. Okay, now here we have Uta. Uta kind of makes sense. This person got 4th place out of 122 player event, which is I think is very impressive. He did opt to play 4 of the Bartolomeos, still playing 4 of the Uta. Top end being Don Quixote do Flamingo, and also playing the 2K as Izo. So this card has 42 film cards and then 8 non-film. He went for maximum consistency right here. I think this is probably what I would play initially, just to see how the deck runs. I think the Bartos are flex spot because you already have the Utas, but everything else is kind of like a flex spot. And again, we still see the law. I think the law is really good. At worst, it can play your Deus up, which is, depending on how you sequence, it's not terrible. It's not probably what you want to do, but it's not terrible. Yeah, but this deck I think is really strong. This is what I would play just because I want to see the most consistent type of deck first, and then I can play around with ratios. Maybe I would want to like reduce the amount of Bartos and increase and try out that useless kits. I don't know. It's up to you. That's the beauty about this. All right, all right. And just to top it all off, just to top it all off, I do think this product is really really good. I think I kind of take back what I said about the starter deck 10 being the most beginner friendly. I really do think this is the more beginner friendly. I think out of the box you get a really really great product. Having said that, I still think it's kind of weird that they didn't add such an essential part being the Nami. But the Nami is kind of powerful just because we haven't seen a searcher similar to this. I believe so that it's either like on play you're able to search a card, so it instantly replaces itself. In addition to on attack, you're able to replace like search a card. So again, if you do that, if you're able to do on play and you're playing against a deck that doesn't have any answers, you already draw two cards out of a single card. So it kind of makes sense that why it's kind of broken. All right. However, I still think it should have been included because the price of that Nami at the moment of the recording is about I believe 30-ish for the regular one. Obviously we have an alternate rare that is more expensive, and then we're gonna have one that comes in one of those binders that is really really cool. I still prefer the alternative rare, but it's still really, really cool. So yeah, I really recommend if you're interested in the deck, if green is kind of your play style, because let's be honest, green is not for everyone. Just because it could be, it's one of those decks that you almost always have to grind out your opponent. So there's no like fast way of winning. At least that's in my idea of playing correctly the deck. But yeah, yeah, I want to hear everyone's thoughts. I think I have an extra one. If I do have an extra one, I promise I'm going to do a giveaway of an extra one because I did participate between me and Alyssa. We did participate in two events, so that itself marks 4. We opened 2. We were able to play with the same decks on those both events. So I ended up keeping one for my collection, and then there's gonna be an extra floating one. So if people are interested in it, I'm more than willing to give it away because I don't want a fourth one. All right, so that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I'm able to do a little bit more of this style of content just because opening the product, man. Last time I got very discouraged because I opened a whole box, I got shit from it, and it was just bad. Anyway, peace out.